Welcome back to The Explainer. Look, if your absolute biggest desire right now is to just turn off your phone, lock the front door, and completely drop off the map, I want you to take a deep breath. Don't fight it. Seriously, don't. I know it sounds a bit intense, but today we're diving into some fascinating source material that outlines what's known as the Scorpio metamorphosis. This material actually frames that sudden, extreme urge to isolate not as some random bad mood, but as a sacred withdrawal. It's an energetic cocooning phase, if you will.
So let's tackle the big question right out of the gate. Why do you suddenly want to disappear? It's kind of a jarring feeling, right? You might wake up with this overwhelming urge to just burn your entire social life to the ground and start totally fresh. You look at your contacts list and honestly feel like hitting delete on almost everyone. And yeah, it feels drastic, it feels extreme. But as we'll see, the sources we're looking at propose there's a profound, highly structured reason behind this sudden drive to disconnect.
This material offers a massive reframe. I mean, society usually takes one look at this kind of withdrawal and immediately slaps a label on it, right? They call it depression, or they just assume you're isolating because you're having some sort of crisis. But the framework of this metamorphosis, it suggests something entirely different. The universe, according to this text, is saying this is an awakening. The theory is you're going through a massive internal transformation, and your soul is literally demanding that you protect your aura from external static. It's described as a fundamental shift in exactly how you process the whole world around you.
Now, to really wrap our heads around this metamorphosis, our sources break it down into 4 distinct phases. We've got gestation, the emotional X-ray, clearing land, and finally, the energetic vacuum. Let's dive right in.
Phase 1, dark gestation.
The sources define this first step as a strategic withdrawal. So the idea here is that this gestation period in the dark is actually a highly calculated strategy. It's not you just hiding under the covers. The text suggests that when you share your energy, your big future plans, or honestly even just your everyday presence with people who are vibrating on a totally different frequency, they unconsciously project their own limitations, their doubts, and their fears right onto you. And your intuition, it instantly recognizes this. So according to this framework, you aren't hiding from the world, you are strategically protecting yourself from mismatched frequencies that are actively dragging down your growth.
The material uses this really vivid metaphor that I absolutely love. Imagine, right now, that you're holding a fragile, incredibly valuable energetic vase. This vase contains the brand new version of you that is currently forming. Now, if you try to walk through a crowded, chaotic room full of people bumping into you with their doubts and surface-level demands, that vase is going to shatter. The concept dictates that you need absolute silence and absolute space to protect what is forming inside of you. You are guarding something incredibly precious.
Moving on to Phase 2, the emotional X-ray. If you've been feeling totally drained lately, the text explains exactly why. It introduces what our sources call an emotional X-ray vision. Basically, you start seeing right down to people's core truth. Lies? They become entirely transparent. Disguised intentions become crystal clear the very second you direct your attention to them. Now just think about the sheer amount of energy it takes to process all of that. The theory is that you feel things with an intensity that most people simply can't match. So when you're operating at this max frequency and you're surrounded by surface-level interactions, it completely consumes your vital energy. You are constantly processing hidden truths. Seriously, no wonder you're exhausted. Which leads us perfectly into this realization. Solitude over mediocre company. According to the text, cutting people off during this phase is not born out of bitterness or anger. Not at all. It's framed as a standard of worth. The idea is that you're simply choosing solitude because you finally realize that you deserve connections that don't force you to shrink or diminish yourself just to fit into someone else's reality.
Next up is Phase 3, clearing land. There's an incredibly powerful quote from the source material that hits the nail on the head here. It says, "When you decide a dynamic is over, you don't leave habitable ruins behind. You set the past ablaze so you can rise from the ashes." Wow, right? That really highlights a very specific ability discussed in our sources. While other people might exhaust themselves for years, literally years, trying to fix broken, unsalvageable situations, this phase is all about your targeted power to end things cleanly and definitively. You don't leave a back door open. You destroy the outdated past so something new can actually grow.
Now sure, external observers might look at you setting these intense boundaries and call it a flaw or maybe even self-destruction, but the text reframes this entirely as a profound addiction to authenticity. It portrays it as an absolute, non-negotiable refusal to live an outdated version of yourself just to keep other people comfortable. You're shedding a skin that just doesn't fit anymore, and it really doesn't matter who might get upset by it.
And that brings us to phase 4, energetic vacuum. The theory here is that by distancing yourself from the people who subtly drain your vitality, you actually achieve something remarkable. You stop the leakage of your manifestive energy. The material suggests that when you stop forcing connections that clearly aren't meant for you, and you stop trying to twist yourself into knots to be palatable for others, you essentially plug the holes in your aura. Your energy stops leaking out into these dead-end relationships and finally starts pooling within you.
So, what happens when you stop that leak and clear out all that old baggage? Well, you create a powerful energetic vacuum. And you know what they say? Nature abhors a vacuum. The concept here is that the universe immediately rushes to fill it. This empty space you've so bravely created suddenly begins to attract real, tangible opportunities. It creates synchronicities in an almost magical way. And most importantly, it makes room for destiny connections and the true power you've been preparing for this whole time. You literally had to empty the room to let the right things in.
Final thought: honor your silence. So, I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to embrace your withdrawal? If this deep dive into the Scorpio metamorphosis resonated with you, let us know down in the comments. Trust me, it helps others realize they aren't going crazy either. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep protecting that energy, and I will see you next time.